one day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew, and you do something about it because you can.
From Fox News, we get this story. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara called out the bizarre progressive ideology that overtook the city following the death of George Floyd on May 25th, 2020, in an interview with the New York Post. The outlet spoke with Minneapolis law enforcement and business owners as the city approaches the 5-year anniversary of George Floyd's death, which sparked global protests and riots by the Black Lives Matter movement. It's been 5 years now. Oh. O'Hara, who previously served in the Newark, New Jersey Police Department, joined the Minneapolis Police Department as chief in November of 2022. Even though he came from a far left city, O'Hara said he was unprepared for how politicized policing in Minneapolis had become, saying, that a bourgeois liberal mentality had made it difficult for reality and facts to break through. Break on through to the other side. Here it's very, very ideological, and a lot of times it's like reality and facts can't get through the filter. It's a very detached, bourgeois, liberal mentality. It's bizarre, he told the Post. There has been an unbelievable amount of trauma here from the destruction of the city that immediately followed George Floyd's death and the explosion of violence that came, said O'Hara. Now, the department faced an exodus of police officers in the aftermath of Floyd's death, reaching its lowest staffing level in 4 decades, according to a September 2023 analysis by the Minneapolis Star Tribune, as mass anti police sentiment and calls to defund the police swept the nation. Members of the progressive leaning Minneapolis City Council criticized the police chief's remarks to the Star Tribune. Council member Jason Chavez, who was inspired to run for office after Floyd's death, called the police chief's words not only disrespectful but counterproductive and condescending. These comments directed at our residents fail to meet the moment we are in when people's rights are under attack from the federal government, and our communities are rightfully pushing back, Chavez told the Star Tribune. Now, Council President Elliot Payne also took issue with O'Hara's remarks, telling the outlet, some people come into their politics through a more academic process, others through solidarity, others through lived experience. No matter how people develop their core values, one should have a deeper understanding of the diverse perspectives of our community before engaging in conversations with New York tabloids, said Payne. Now, Sergeant Gary Harton, an MPD spokesperson, clarified O'Hara's remarks in a statement to Fox News Digital when he said, as the chief has said previously, policing in the city has become overly politicized, making it difficult to even discuss the need for effective and adequately resourced police without it being viewed through a rigid ideological lens. That's the disconnect, not with residents, but with political narratives that overshadow the real and urgent safety concerns residents are living with every day, said Sergeant Parton. Now, in January, the Minneapolis City Council unanimously approved an agreement with the Biden administration to overhaul the city's police training and use of force policies, building on changes the force has already made since former officer Derek Chauvin was found guilty of the homicide of Floyd after kneeling on his neck for about 9 minutes during that 2020 arrest in May. And so many people are going back and forth. I just recently did a story where somebody was wanting to pardon Derek Chauvin, and people are like, let him out, you know. Um, and I'm not really going to go there at this time. I'm not just what this story is about, but I'll say this: no matter how George Floyd died, some people say, well, he died from this, he died from that, he wasn't killed by the cop. Derek Chauvin was still wrong to a certain degree, because if you go back and watch that video, and that video is in my head probably for the rest of my life, it really, really affected me. That video did, because the guy was laying there begging the officer for a drink of water, saying, "I need water. I need water, please." He was saying, "Please, officer, just give me some water." And they said, "Officer, I can't breathe." And Derek Chauvin didn't say, "Can we get a bottle of water for the guy?" or anything like that. He just sat there as Derek Chauvin died under his knee. And people were saying, "Well, he was resisting, he was, whatever." That doesn't make it right. The cop was wrong to protect and serve. It doesn't say to protect and serve all those people that are not criminals. It says to protect and serve the community. We have to protect and serve criminals. That's part of your job, dude. That's called professionalism. That's just part of the job. It's you signed the contract. And so, in my humble opinion, at a minimum, Derek Chauvin was a very unprofessional, POS, incompetent cop. He did his job poorly. And so I believe, yeah, at least he should have served time for some civil rights violations, if nothing else. But I digress. I'm opening a can of worms again, and that's good. Comment in the comment section. But bottom line here is, now this police chief is saying, look, we can't even police the city right now because it's so politicized. It's all about political. You do this wrong, boom, politicians jump in. You do this wrong, the community jumps in. You do this wrong, so, and then a lot of people don't want to be cops in Minnesota. There's a big mass exodus. Moses came in and said, "Police, follow me." And they're like, "We're out of here." You know what I mean? But and as far as going back real quickly, and I'm done, but we're going back to the pardon of Derek Chauvin. Trump and his administration has not even um, verbalized that they're considering a pardon of Chauvin, or if they've even thought about it. They've just dismissed it this time. So he's probably going to stay for several more years in prison. And speaking of political, he probably was politically convicted, because of him, the whole nation burned. I mean, from coast to coast.